If you ever wondered why Infinite was such a hype villain but turned out to be so useless, why Shadow was suddenly becoming an edgelord villain with literally no recollection of Maria, or why characters like Knuckles, Tails, or even Silver were becoming coward nobodies, is because of this guy, aka Mr. Ken Pontac. Mr. Pontac had no idea who Sonic was, he didn't know anything about Sonic lore or stories behind different characters, yet still got to write Sonic for almost a whole decade. He was surprisingly open about it too. He even admitted he only watched a couple of cutscenes from Wikipedia and was like, yep, I can write this franchise. Not to take anything away from this guy or his co-writer Warren Graff though, cause together they could write for children, teenagers, and sick adults who enjoyed disembowelment of stuffy cartoon animals. But when it came to Sonic franchise though, they weren't really it. You see, after the 2010 era of Sonic franchise, more specifically after Sonic Colors, fans have noticed a drastic shift of attitude in Sonic's behavior.
Baldy nose hair!
He was making stupid jokes all the time, most of the cutscenes involved him and Tails just walking around saying stuff to each other back and forth, and most importantly, a lot of the main cast just became background NPC characters. For example, in Generations, Shadow and Silver could have easily turned super and helped Sonic defeat the Time Eater. What did they do instead? Absolutely nothing. Or in Sonic Forces, when Sonic was captured by Eggman, Shadow off to God knows where, and Silver, well, let's just not talk about him. That also brings me to my next point, which is if you go back and play any of the games these two wrote, you'd realize none of them have any tension to them whatsoever. Like compare Ian Flynn's Shadow Generation to Pontac's Sonic Generation. Flynn took his time to explain how black arms are affecting the timelines, and at the end of the story, Shadow genuinely had to sacrifice something to defeat Black Doom. But in Sonic Generation, you don't see any of that. Or in Forces, Sonic was supposedly tortured for 6 whole months while being a literal POW, but when you get to him, he was fit as a fiddle, and he was still making those stupid jokes like nothing happened to him. But then you go and read the comics Ian Flynn wrote, and you'd see how a story can add dark elements to it while still staying kid-friendly. And look, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that Ian Flynn is flawless, but compared to those two, he's like the Martin Scorsese's of the Sonic franchise. Don't forget that Dave damaged Shadow's character so much, he literally had to bring Maria back from the dead just to fix their mistake and give Shadow his purpose back. But that being said though, Warren Graff did mention that him and Ken Pontac did have little to say about the stories and wrote only a narrative to fit around the story, and given how Sonic Team puts the writers on a tight leash, what he said actually kinda makes sense. But even knowing that won't change how people feel about the worst thing that happened to the Sonic franchise, also known as the Deadly Six. Jokes aside though, I'm curious to know what you guys think of these two writers. Please let me know in the comments below, like and subscribe, do all the good stuff, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.